all of the greatness that you could achieve if you were to commit to it now, if you were to make that decision today. Nobody came and got me out of bed. Nobody was coming for me. And there's this audio that's going around on Reels and TikTok right now. That's Mel Robbins' voice. And she's like, no one's coming. No one's setting your alarm for you. No one's getting you out of bed. No one's creating these beliefs for you. No one is going to do the work for you or something like that. But I realized in that moment in the hotel of like, nobody else did this. It was my brain and my beliefs and my continuation of doing the hard thing, getting out of my comfort zone little by little, consistently showing up and becoming the decision maker of my life that allowed me to be standing there in this moment. And I just had so much gratitude for the journey and for my self-belief, which I know sounds weird, but that's what it took to get me there, was just investing in myself over and over so that I could learn what I needed to learn to be able to show up, how I needed to show up to lead and do the things that I wanted to do. So if things feel impossible for you, or if you're like, I'm not that person and I can't do that thing, yes, you can. Yes, you absolutely can. Just believe in yourself and hold that space for yourself, that you don't have to be the version of yourself that you were yesterday or even this morning. Like, you can become someone new at any time when you just embody that version of yourself and you just have the visualizations that you're already that person. You will start to act differently in accordance with how you see yourself. When you see yourself as a leader, you will show up on those calls differently, and you can absolutely learn that skill just like any other skill. I was not expecting to preach at you at this level, but I'm glad I did, because I think somebody on here needs to hear it. And I really hope that it hits home for you the way that it hit home for me throughout this whole growth journey inside of my business. One of my favorite quotes from Napoleon Hill is that the real enemy of wealth isn't mindset, it's delay. I'm going to say that again. The real enemy of wealth isn't mindset, it's delay. So if you are here and you're like, not right now, not today, I need to do X, Y, Z before I'm ready to actually do the thing that I want to do, before I want to build the wealth for my family that I know it's truly important to me, you're just delaying all of the greatness that you could achieve if you were to commit to it now. If you were to make that decision today, I'm going to go do the thing. I'm going to have the life that I want to have. That's the enemy, is this delay. The enemy is you not deciding. The real enemy is you thinking that you're not ready, because you are. You are already ready. You are already a leader. You already have everything it takes to go become the next version of yourself that creates the wealth that you want for your family, for your life, to create that 7-figure business. It's already inside of you. You just have to access that version of yourself, and you just have to take action now and stop delaying. So if you're listening, write down somewhere in big letters, do it now. Just go do it now. Do whatever it takes. Make the decision. Just do it now. Do something today to move yourself in that direction. Do it now. That's the most important thing, is just stop delaying. The world is 100% waiting for what it is that you have. There is someone laying in bed every single morning, or maybe in the middle of the night, with dread in their stomach because they have not fixed the problem that you solved. So shift into that service mindset of, how do I help that person who cannot sleep? How do I go give them what it is that I have so that they aren't stuck anymore, so they're not miserable anymore? How do I go out and show up the way that I need to show up to be able to help those people who are waiting for you right now? You got to become that decision maker. So what I've seen for a lot of people, their biggest concern is how to run that evergreen group program. And they're focusing on all of the tactics and how to launch it and how to fill it with people and what to put inside of it, and like how many calls, and I picked a program name and I plan to launch to actually get the program out there. But what do I actually put into the program? We're going to dive into designing your group program, because this is something that we can do today, because we want to create a program that creates that transformation, not just to sell it and not just to make money. Because we've talked about this earlier, we've realized this isn't about you. This is about you serving your audience. You have to care about your audience first and care about your students first. And I've talked often about selling them what they want and then giving them what they need. So I recently hired a funnel optimization coach because I wanted to learn more about testing and about tracking and all these different pieces on the more technical side. But one of the biggest lessons that I've learned from him is the secret of how to figure out what your audience actually wants, or what your potential audience wants if you don't have an audience yet. How do you figure out what to sell? How do you figure out what people actually want? And here's the secret that he shared with me. Do you guys want to know? You want to know what the secret is? He told me to ask them. Just ask them. Ask them what they want. Ask them what they need. So you guys might remember I sent out an email before this kicked off, and I asked you, what is your number one challenge? What is your biggest block or your belief that you need to overcome? You may have seen Instagram stories of mine that are asking questions and doing polls. I am constantly asking questions about what you need and what support you would like and where your biggest block is, because I can create all of my content around that. I can take your words and put them into my training so that it makes sense, so that I'm speaking directly to you and you're like, how does she know? It's like serendipity, like she just appeared and she said this thing that I said. It's a very purposeful exercise to ask questions of your audience or to hang out in groups where your audience is hanging out and ask questions inside of those groups, or to research other people's content and see what questions people are asking there. There's this listening practice that makes all the difference in your business. So the number one step of creating your group program is to actually run an ask campaign first and to ask them the questions and then structure your group program as a result. So you're structuring what you're teaching them based off of what it is that they're already telling you that they need help with. Like usually it's like the same 60% of, everybody's the exact same for what they're asking for. So you'll start to notice patterns when you're speaking to people and when you're asking people, that when you can create your group program and then create your spoken sales page or your context creation event that sells the program, whether that's a challenge or, a live series or a masterclass or any number of other launched but not launched things that you can do, then you can use their words and it helps your conversion rates increase immensely. So I want you to think about that transformation and what it's going to do for your audience. And I actually want you to think of it as if you were writing a book. So I grabbed a nonfiction book that was on the shelf back there to illustrate this. And if you think about a book and you think about the beginning of the book, the table of contents, right? It has these sections, right? So it's got different sections, has different chapters within each section. And then within each chapter, there are frameworks and there are, headings for different things that people want to learn. So inside of your book that you're writing, you want to figure out what are all the sections. If someone is going to come in, they're going to see your book at Barnes & Noble or wherever on Amazon, and they think this is the book for me, this is the book that I need. What do they need to see inside of that book to feel like that book is going to help them achieve that transformation that they truly want? So think about it. What is section 1 that they have to go through to have the first iteration of their transformation? What's section 2? What's section 3? What are the different pieces of their journey that you can map out as if it were a book? So they're reading it, and then just think about your book as a group program. So that becomes the sections of the group program, the modules, the lessons, and you think about each piece. If you map it out from A to Z, what do they know when they come in as A, and what have they learned, and how have they transformed by the time they get to Z that you've done inside of your content? You've brought them on this journey. That's how you design what's going to go inside of your group program. So if you're already thinking about things differently from where you were at the beginning of this training today, that's called growth. You're already experiencing growth as a result of what you're learning. So just like pat yourself on the back and think about how much more you can learn and how much more you can grow just because you're shifting what you're learning and shifting your beliefs and you're seeing things differently. And you can create that exact same experience for your customers. So when you think about the problem from their perspective, you can start communicating it back to them, and you can have your framework that supports that and have your book or your sections and your modules and your lessons that help them achieve that transformation. And that's how you will design your group program. So I do have homework for you today. It's probably not what you think it's going to be. You don't have to design every call that's going to be included inside of your group program. You don't have to design the content. You don't have to go create a massive sales page or anything. I want you to do one thing, which is create one single sentence. So if you've ever given an elevator pitch, that's what I want you to create inside of this homework today. I want you to just figure out what the transformation is of your group program. I want you to think about it from that perspective, not how you're going to launch it, not what's going to be in it, not who you're going to fill it with. Don't stress about any of those details yet. I want you to focus on the transformation. I know it's been a huge growth journey for me, and I know that you are at the beginning of your very own growth journey, and I can't wait to support you in that. Have a great rest of your day.